So for every technique, there's an assessment, there's a pathology, there's a correctional treatment, and then there's an exercise-based rehab at the end.
Hi, how you doing, folks? I'm delighted today to be joined by one of my longtime friends and collaborators, James Wozlowski. How are you doing, James?
Great, Aubrey. It's great to be seeing you again. It's been fun catching up on all these Zooms and online classes, and I'm fired up about teaching with you.
Yeah, so that's really what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be looking at the September seminar that we've got coming up. Very start of September. It's running over a weekend, first weekend in September. It's the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of September. And this is the first time we've done this type of collaboration, Jim, where we're pretty much doing 50-50. We're doing a day and a half each on our own kind of specialities and our areas of focus. I'm going to be working on the pelvis, particularly looking at correcting things like pelvic torsion, but I'm going to be looking at hip movement as well. And you're going to be doing shoulder. So can you tell us a little bit about that, James?
You know what I'm excited, Aubrey, is, as you know, I've taught in Ireland maybe 15, 20 times. But when I'm bringing back in 2020, we updated everything, every PowerPoint, every handout, every piece of literature, updated a lot of our online stuff. And my favorite class really brings together everything probably that I've taught in Ireland is the kinetic chain shoulder. So shoulder, as many people know, is my specialty, but it keeps evolving, it keeps getting better. And one of the things we're going to be looking at, Aubrey, is we're going to be looking at ascending syndromes, as you know about. And we're going to look a little bit about the subtalar joint, which you've taught a million times, but we're going to just do a quick review of that and how that affects tibial torsion and all kinds of stuff into the knee. We're going to be then looking at some ascending tibial torsion patterns that's going to affect, this is all going to affect shoulder, by the way. Then we're going to look at some iliosacral torsions, but since you're doing pelvic, I'm going to keep this really simple because I don't want to duplicate the amazing work you're going to be teaching. We're just going to look at how that's going to affect the sacral base and how that's going to affect scoliosis and rotation of the spine. And then we're going to get into the occiput a little bit because, as everybody knows, what's going on with the neck affects the shoulder. So we'll get into like SCMs, trapped nerves and stuff. But my favorite part is going to be the shoulder. And I've really changed my work with the shoulder, Aubrey, over the last 5 years, like tremendously. We're going to look at clavicular rib stuff. We'll show you how to use the rib to stretch all the scalenes. We're going to talk about sternoclavicular function. We're going to talk about non-surgical innervation of treatment of rotator cuff injuries. We're going to talk about thoracic outlet, shoulder impingement, bursitis. I mean, it's going to go on and on. The good thing, Aubrey, is I usually teach shoulder in 4 hours. Well, they're going to get 6 to 8 hours just on shoulder.
I would say, you know, James's shoulder stuff, the detail, the specificity you go through, I think there's very few classes. I mean, we did a little bit of work together when we were over in Canada at the Canadian Massage Conference back in September. And it was great to have that play-by-play back and forth and see what is current, what you're doing. And it has changed. You know, there's a lot of the favorites. It's like a touring band. You know, you're going to play the hits, but then there's the new stuff as well, which I think people are going to love that combination.
You know, and also that we've done the shoulder jam. So we got input from like 10 world leaders on shoulders, right? From Tom Myers to Eric Dalton to you to all these great legends of shoulders. And so I've really tweaked a bunch of things. Even when you're in Canada, or here you are going, this got this new pec minor, little PNF stretch. I mean, there's all these subtleties that we're collaborating with. And what I love about us teaching together is it's going to be like a mastermind. Like when I've taught with other colleagues on the cruise ships and so on, everybody sees something different. Dalton will see something, you'll see something, I'll see something. Benny Bond and I did this at his clinic one time. He saw something with an athlete, I saw something totally different. And we're like, whoa. And that's what I think we're going to see as we feed off each other and combine our works. We're going to see this mastermind opportunity that you and I have spent. For me, I've spent 33 years studying with world masters, and I've refined it over and over and over. Like I'm going to tell you that there's probably very rarely is there a thing as frozen shoulder. It's not frozen. There's no thermodynamic aspects. So we're going to be looking at scars. We're looking at microcurrent. We're going to look at lymphatic drainage. We're going to look at muscle balancing. We're going to look at joint function, trapped nerves. I mean, it's like, but I promised them one thing. When they come, because of the way my daughter learns with her autism and her dyslexia, I will make really complicated information simple. Everybody is capable of comprehending what they're going to walk away with.
And I think that's something that people should take away, that the specificity and complex bodywork can achieve amazing results, but it's only complex when taken as a whole. It can be broken down into these bite-sized little pieces that, like you said, anybody should be able to take on board, understand, go back into clinic and apply and get those same amazing results. That just because the whole is complex doesn't mean every part of it is complex. and breaking it down, like you said, not to the point that it loses cohesion, that it doesn't lose its sense of what it's about, but it's simple enough that anybody can understand.
And that's what I love about teaching with you, Aubrey, is that you bring to the table all the updated clinical studies, research, all the new trends of medicine. I'll teach the doctor, the PT, the chiropractor, the athletic trainer the same thing, but I'll teach them as you see something in a technique on the table, you're going to also see an image on the PowerPoint on my second screen where this is what's happening. So for every technique, there's an assessment, there's a pathology, there's a correctional treatment, and then there's an exercise-based rehab at the end. Because as we were talking on the Zoom recently, and I think it was Benny Vaughn said, just get them up and teach them to cross pattern and walk again. So we're going to evaluate, we're going to treat, and we're going to look at the kinetic change. So what I love about, I've studied with Dr. Kerry D'Ambrosia, and he said, always look globally. He taught me total body lymphatic and total body balancing. And now as we look globally, we can say, okay, how is the ankle, knee, hip, spine, and neck compromising that shoulder problem? And then from looking globally the first 4 hours, then we can add 8 hours of really advanced assessment, clinical reasoning, special tests, application of technique, and then finish the whole thing with some home care retraining exercises. I'm really psyched because this is some stuff. I'd say 80% of what I'm teaching this time in Ireland is either an updated or improved or new information from what I used to teach in Ireland. And it's been a number of years since I've been there.
And that's the thing. I mean, adding nuance is always beneficial, that people get more and more adept at identifying these things, seeing them from different perspectives. And like you said, collaborating with other people, you learn so much. I certainly enjoyed when Eric Dalton was over here in Ireland and we did our pain detectives course. And the two of us were really just bouncing back, playing off each other, like the way musicians would jam. I'm hoping we get to do a bit of that as well. The two of us will probably at some point do a little bit of and this is what I do for this, and that's what I'll do for that. And we'll add this in and see how really mutually complementary a lot of the industry leaders in our profession, their information may seem like they're taking very different approaches, but they're always mutually complementary. We're working on the same basis. We're working on the same human anatomy. We're trying to achieve the same positive outcomes. So there's oftentimes a really great blend and mix that can take place. So just to give people a little bit of detail, this is on our website. It's hcd.ie. I mean, if you're watching this on socials, we'll have detailed links and things like that you guys can follow. But on our website, you'll see the information about the class, the overview, our banner, of course, and then you can click on these different links to show you the background. For those of you guys who are not familiar with James, and you must have been living under a rock if you're not, there's some of his bio there. A little bit of information on my own background as well. And then the seminar content. So kind of giving you an idea of what we're going to be doing, because as James said, he's not just treating the shoulder. It's, kinetic chains. It's this stepping back and looking at the entire body. And then we have information about how you can sign up, the details. We have an early bird discount. So if you guys are signing up before the 1st of July, you're saving yourself money. So get your bookings in, get in booked quick. We have details on the hotel as well. Fantastic hotel. It's literally 15 minutes up the motorway from Dublin Airport. So anybody thinking about flying in to take a break, a holiday in Ireland, James is going to be looking at some stuff. We'll talk about that in a second, about other things that he's going to do around the seminar, which I think is going to be cool. So there's a discount rate you can get as an attendee. So you can talk to the hotel, you can get a really, really good room rate, and then you can add for breakfast included and stuff like that. And on the same page, there's all the sign up info. So really straightforward, all your booking all in one place. Go ahead and click that link, find out more. James, we were saying a little bit about making it almost like a retreat. Any ideas so far?
So Aubrey, as you know, I've been to Dublin probably 15, 20 times, and I love the surrounding area. We've had friendships for like 20 some years, and I absolutely love Ireland. I'm half Irish. McGovern is my, so I know some of the areas, and I would really love to spend a couple of extra days with people, just going, having lunch, bonding, connecting, and just having a really good time after the workshops for maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and before I head up to Scotland.
And that part of Dublin, I mean, there's lots of historical sites as well. So for people particularly traveling to Ireland for this seminar, if you can, allow those few extra days. There's such a variety. I mean, we're pretty close to the coast, so there's beach stuff you can do. There's, as I said, a lot of historical, like burial mounds, castles in the area, a lot of really interesting stuff. And then you're pretty close to Dublin city centre as well. So there's the medieval part of Dublin. There's, of course, the nightlife. The Irish pub scene is pretty well known around the world at this stage. So there's so much to do. There's literally something for everybody. If you're bringing partners with you and stuff like that, there's going to be stuff for them to do while you're in class. So think about it very much as a retreat, as James said, that there's going to be a lot to do. If you're based here in Ireland, you've probably seen some of that stuff, but hey, make time if you can.
Exactly.
Anything else we're missing, James? Anything else you'd like to say to people before we wrap up?
Think so, but I'm really psyched out because you and I have evolved a lot over the last, especially over the last 10 years. And I'm just excited. This is going to be an amazing reconnect of friendship. But I think it's going to be what I loved in Toronto. And I got so much feedback. When you came in my classroom and I came in your classroom and we interacted and mastermind, that went over so huge. And what I love is that we're teaching separate. So we can be in each other's classrooms, interacting and masterminding. And I think that's just going to be a game changer. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think that's what will really surprise people. And if you're around the hotel, we'll have dinner with you guys in the evening. You get to chat and see how we nerd out on little things. And it is always that kind of process of, like you said, we've known each other for so long. There's that real bond and connection that I can easily go into your class and I'll say, hey, I'll assist. I don't have something on right now. And you've done the same for me. And the fact that, like you said, we play off each other's ideas, that it is that mastermind, that people are actually getting a really integrated experience when they come to one of these kind of workshops. So I think it's going to be fantastic.
Great. Looking forward to it, Aubrey.
Great, James. Well, I'd like to say thanks for taking the time to join us here today. I hope folks find this interesting and are inspired to go ahead and sign up for this seminar, because it is going to be just an amazing, mind-blowing event. So thanks for joining me today, Jim, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person in September for this great event.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Take care. Bye.